Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Coaching Corner. It is Tuesday, 6:30 p.m., so you know it's time for the Coaching Corner where we talk about all things special education. For those of you who are new and tuning into the Coaching Corner, I am Jamila, aka the IEP Coach, and I am the founder and CEO of the IEP Coach LLC. We are an education company, and we specialize in providing special education centered support to SPED teams, teachers, and paraprofessionals so they can thrive in their roles and keep their schools out of litigation. Okay, that's just a little bit about us at the IEP Coach. As you tune in, say hey, say hello, tell me where you're tuning in from, and don't forget to share out this live. Tonight, we are discussing what this year taught me about SPED teams and what needs to change. And we're going to have Q&A. So we always have time for your questions and get your questions answered. So make sure you also have your questions ready. Because sometimes y'all be acting shy like, you don't got these questions, but then later on you be all in our DMs, sending us messages. Okay, so don't be scared to ask your question right here on the live. And thank you. Hello to everyone tuning in. Hello. So go ahead and share out this live. All righty. Go here. All right. And before we begin, if you are a school leader, administrator, principal, assistant principal, a SPED director, we have our webinar, free webinar this Thursday, December the 11th. Register. It is absolutely free. It is Progress Monitoring 101, the missing system costing your school growth and how to fix it. Okay. It is absolutely free. So you definitely want this for your school. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the comments right now. I meant to put it in the show notes and I forgot, but I'm going to drop it right here in the comments for you guys. And don't forget, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter, the IEP Insider. We drop a new edition every single Wednesday. So you definitely want to make sure you're subscribed so you can get the notifications about the new edition that's dropped. And this is for SPED teachers, SPED leaders, strategies, actionable strategies that you can apply right away. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop that for you as well, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. It is cold. It is straight brick outside. It is so cold. It's so cold. It's cold. As soon as I felt the first chill, when the first chill came, I pulled out all my winter stuff because I don't like being cold. When I tell you I got my bear on, snuggled out, gloves, the kind that cover your I got the kind that you could put on and it covers your fingers too. And I got my my warmer to go around my head. It's not a game with me. Listen, it's not a game. I don't like being cold, okay? I don't like being cold. Yes, Coach Vanessa said it's freezing. Yes, ma'am. It is freezing. So, yes, I just dropped the link for you guys to subscribe to our newsletter. So, once you subscribe, you will get an email letting you know of when the next edition is dropping. So, it is dropping tomorrow. So, you want to definitely make sure that you have subscribed. Okay, let's get it in. All righty. So tonight's topic, what this year taught me about SPED teams and what needs to change. What? As we head into 2026, we ain't trying to take that same stuff we was doing in 2025. If it worked, yes, we're going to take it into 2025. If it wasn't serving us and it wasn't doing any good for the students or you, yeah, we leaving that. We're gonna leave that. We're not taking that into 2026 with us. Okay. Yes, we're not doing that. All right. So whether you're a SPED teacher, a gen ed teacher, coordinator, school leader, this conversation, is definitely gonna hit home, and you're going to hear something that feels very, very familiar. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to go over like 6 lessons that we learned this year for SPED teams. All right. Lesson number 1, SPED teams don't need more willpower. They need systems. Okay. They need systems. Most issues weren't people problems. They were system problems. SPED teams are drowning, not because they don't care, but because they're expected to remember everything with no structures. No structure. There's no system in place for them for progress monitoring, for timelines, even just a system on communication, service delivery. There's no system. Just because you care about it, that does not replace the workflow that you need to be successful in what it is you're doing. And as a result of having the lack of systems, they're getting burned out. You have inconsistency, missed services, and IEPs are not being done on time. So therefore, that's making you being out of compliance. Out of compliance. Now, those of you tuning in, like, especially you're in this field, special education or just education as a whole, what part of your job felt most chaotic this year? And I can tell you, for one, I always hear the paperwork. The paperwork was chaotic. The paperwork was chaotic. But let me see if you guys are gonna be shy today and not want to share. Like, what was most chaotic? But that's like the number one thing I hear all the time from Tuesday. Like, what part of your job feels the most stressful, most chaotic? Paperwork, definitely. Yes, paperwork. We hear that all the time. And what helps you handle that paperwork, what helps you work through that paperwork, if you have a system to help you manage the paperwork. Because it does feel like a lot. If you're even if you are a gen ed teacher, it is a lot of paperwork you have to do as far as just keeping up with your students. Who's in this group? Who's in that group? This keeping track of this, their reading levels, testing information, schedules, chasing parents to schedule IEP meetings. I hear that. I hear that. It is a lot. And then as a SPED teacher, you have the case management, and that's a whole nother job in itself. So when you have a system, it helps you to manage the paperwork. Okay. Lesson number 2, case management cannot be like, you have to learn case management. It's not something that's just going to come to you, that's just going to happen. No, you have to learn case management. You have to practice your case management skills. You got to practice at it. And you know how people say practice makes perfect? No, practice makes you better. Practice makes you better. Okay? And when you're a SPED teacher, you're a teacher and you're a case manager, and like, you'll get training in school for being a teacher, like how to write your lesson plans, how to manage certain behaviors and things like that. You don't get anything in college about case management. You literally learn that on the job. And there should be more training for case management because it's a lot. It's a whole job in itself. All right. So too many SPED teachers, especially in charter schools, they were pushed into roles without the training. Case management is a profession, is not a side task. That's not something you do on a test. That is, like I said, it's a whole nother role job. SPED teachers weren't trained on this, but needed training on writing effective IEPs, defensible IEPs, facilitating IEP meetings, communicating with difficult parents, because that is like an art, tracking services, ensuring gen ed colleagues follow the accommodations in the IEP. And the lack of this training, it leads to problems. And it leads to problems like being incompliant. Because if you have inconsistent IEPs, you're not consistently following following a student's IEP, then you're in compliance. If you enroll a student into your school and you know that your school cannot provide the proper program and the proper services and placement for that student, day one, you are not in compliance. Yeah, you taking that money for that student that you have in that school, but you are incompliant because you cannot provide the proper services, programming, and supports for that school. If you cannot implement that IEP, you are in compliance. Incompliant, excuse me. Yeah, she said case management is a whole It's a whole dang job. That's what she said. She says a whole dang job. Yes, it's a whole job. Now, what needs to change? You need to have formal onboarding and coaching when you have new teachers, new SPED teachers, or even new SPED teachers come to your school. It's like just because I'm a SPED teacher, that doesn't mean I know every single thing. And it's like, here, no, onboard me and train me. How do you do things at your school? How do you want us to write our plops, the present levels of performance section in the IP? How do you want that written? How should we be doing our IP? Like, you have to have a streamlined system of how to do it. Because if you don't, you're going to have this person writing IEPs this way, she's writing IEPs another way. Like, no, it needs to be, how are we writing these IEPs? How are we going about progress monitoring? You have to have a system in place. The parents who don't trust that not all case managers are the same. We are a team. Yes, the parents who don't trust that not all case managers are the same. We are a team. And yes, you really have to work as a team. When you truly work as a team, it is one of the best things ever. When you're truly working as an IEP team, and that includes the parents, it includes the students. When you guys work as a team and anyone who's supporting that student, it helps a lot. And that's the whole point, working together as a team. All right. Now, what training did you need this year that you didn't get? What is a training that you needed this year that you did not get? All right. Let me get a moment. Let me check. Ooh. Let me check. Ooh, excuse me. Let me check. All right. All right, let's see. What's the training that you needed that you did not get this year? I want to say we had sent out some DMs to like SPED teachers that engage with us a lot on social media, and even some SPED leaders. They spoke about they wish they had more training on progress monitoring. They said they wish they honestly had training on like dealing with difficult parents, and also what was it? Knowing how to lead an IEP and like how to support gen ed teachers on how to participate in a meeting. That was another one. And then there was they also said they wish it was like a toolkit or something where if it's like it was just basically saying like, if this happens, do this. One of those types of one pagers. They wish they had something like that at their disposal. But I want to say the teachers, it's the meetings. Oh, and we're also live on TikTok. So the question was, what training did you need this year that you didn't get? If you are a special education educator, what was a training that you needed that you did not get? Okay. So yes, that's what we heard a lot just from the DMs that I can remember off the top of my head. Yeah, that was I'll say the progress monitoring was a big one. And SPED teachers that are in secondary, like high school, when I tell you, when we've talked about transition, it's like they know what it is, but I'm like, what are you doing as far as your transition plan, and what are you doing with your students? It's like, when I tell you, it's like crickets. So it's not enough training on that either. All right. Hello, everyone. All right. Now, lesson number 3 that we learned: gen ed cannot support what they don't understand. Gen ed teachers can't support what they don't understand. So we have to make sure that we give them what they need. We have to make sure, like, hey, they know what the students' goals are. They know what those accommodations are. And they have an understanding of how the disability is impacting the student. So most gen ed teachers is still like need support with what do they have to implement? Like, what are the accommodations they're implementing? What does that mean? What is their role on the team? Where is the IP located? How to track their part of the plan? You know, this can lead to frustration on both sides. Like, and how this needs to change is regularly having training with gen ed teachers and SPED, simple accommodation guides, collaboration systems, not just one-off conversations that SPED teachers can have with gen ed teachers. So like collaboration is just like we need to be collaborative. Like if we're co-teaching, we need to have common planning time so we can plan together. We can talk about the students with IEPs. We can talk about their accommodations, how they need to be supported, etc. Like we need that. And this is how they can even ask questions, clarification questions if they don't understand something, especially if you have the common planning time, you can do it then. All right, lesson number 4. Communication with families must be consistent, not crisis driven. So don't just communicate with families when it's a problem. Okay? Too many schools only communicate when something is wrong. Families, they want clarity, updates, and transparency. Okay? When you have a lack of communication, there is the lack of communication is going to lead to distrust, which can lead to escalations, which can lead to a parent saying, you know what, we going to court. You're not listening to me. You're not following my child's plan. Like, consistently communicate. And when they reach out, like say, hey, I can get back to you within 24 hours, and try to get back within less than 24 hours. You know, like be transparent and communicate with them. Okay. Now, what needs to change? Have schedule updates with them. Have clear parent communication plans. Even as a school, you can have like scripts for tough conversations, and you can review that at your SPED teams. Okay, you can even give this to gen ed teachers as well, because this will help you with your communication with them. All right. Now, what communication system would have saved you time this year? What communication system would have saved you time this year? Anybody have any particular communication systems that would have saved them time this year? I know for me, I felt when I was in a classroom, I felt like I needed an assistant. I tell you that would have helped save me a lot of time. I tell you that. But like, I sent out a newsletter at the very beginning of the school year, and then every couple weeks, I would send out communication with parents, just about their child. But I will also tell them just like shoot me an email. Email helps me a lot. And then also my students I tracked a lot of behavior, so we were communicating on the behavior tracker. A lot of times they would put when I would email it, they would email me, have their comments in on the tracker, so I could that was a lot of communication we had, so they always knew what was going on, with their child's education. I love Remind 101 to converse with parents. Oh, excuse me. I love the apps that they have now, because I know sometimes you don't want to be on your personal device and you share your number because you don't want the parents to have your number. But I remember when I was a scout leader, I used Remind. I know a lot of schools use Class Dojo as like text communication, and also some schools use Remind too. And then also they've been using oh man, I can't think of it. I can't think of the name of the system, but a lot of schools use it too. They have like a parent portal. They can send out a blast, information, communication, let them know what's going on in the school. I forgot what it's called. I can't think of the name of it. Here's lesson 5. Progress monitoring is still the weakest link. Progress monitoring is at the core of everything. It might be Power School. I can't think of the name of it. The single biggest pattern across schools, you have inconsistent, unclear, or non-existent progress monitoring. Schools often report progress without data, and teachers need to use different systems and formats teachers are using different formats and systems or none at all. So you don't have a streamlined system at all. Everybody is doing their own thing. So schools need to have their one school-wide system for collecting progress, collecting the data on their students to track not just IEP goals, but any goal you have for a student. You need to have a method for collecting your data, a method of scheduled data days, a method for analyzing the data, and then clear expectations for the documentation of it. Okay, so when progress monitoring is strong, everything else is going to improve because you always have your data there. You have you have analyzed your data, and that helps you to make data-driven decisions about your students. Okay. So a quick question, how confident did you feel in your data this year? On a scale of 1, oh my, horrible, 10, it was perfect. How confident did you feel in your data this year? Let's see. I'll say when I first started, my data sucked. It was horrible because it's like no one taught us how to really progress monitor. And I want to say when I switched districts, I was like, oh, okay, this is how you need to be doing the progress monitoring. I'm like, all right, got it. It just became super clear. You want to know why? We had a system we had a clear system of collecting. We had a clear system on progress monitoring. We had our days for progress monitoring. There was a place where everything we needed for progress monitoring. We knew where everything was. That was where the progress monitoring was housed. Probes, anything we needed. It was housed in one space. And everybody was doing it the same thing. Everybody, all the specialties, we all use the same thing. We all were doing it the same way. Now, because I was an emotional support teacher, I also tracked behavior. So I had behavior rubrics as well. I can't say there was a school-wide behavior rubric. I had my rubric. Like I communicated with I was 7th grade. So me and the 8th grade teacher, we used the same rubric. So that way when they left 7th grade and they moved to 8th grade, it wasn't nothing new. They were used to it and parents were used to it too. But there was a streamlined system. And there was a certain day of the week that was designated for SPED teachers to pull students for their progress monitoring. And you definitely need a school-wide, you need a system. I am such a systems person, because it helps to alleviate a lot of chaos and a lot of stress. All right, lesson number 6. SPED teams need capacity, not heroics, okay? The SPED hero teacher mindset is hurting us. Okay, one person cannot do the teaching, the progress monitoring, the meetings, the service tracking, everything. No, accommodation. No, you can't do all of it. And communicate with parents. No, you have to build capacity, not dependency. Okay? You have to build capacity. So what needs to change? You have shared workflows. Admin alignment, realistic caseload expectations, protected planning time. Please don't schedule the meeting about the meeting for the meeting during their meeting time. You see how I said that? Don't schedule a meeting about the meeting during their meeting time. Okay? Let their prep be their prep. If we have to meet, let's find a time, let's find a day and time. Let them know ahead of time. And don't let it happen every single day. Come on. A strong SPED department survives staff turnover. A weak one will collapse. Okay? A strong SPED department survives all staff turnover. A weak one will collapse. Okay? So, what's one responsibility you shouldn't be holding alone? What is one responsibility you should not be doing alone? She said, when am I supposed to eat? Do this paperwork. Do you know how many times you sit at the desk And I'm being guilty that this is before I really started to protect my peace. I'm sitting at the desk eating my lunch and typing and doing emails. This was me, and I'm eating my lunch. I remember one time they scheduled a meeting during my lunch, and I found out the day of because no one took the time to just communicate, send me a quick email like, "Hey, Miss Bashir," you know, like. And I'm sitting there when I time in that meeting, starving, like my stomach was talking. I was like, my stomach was talking. I'm just like, why would you do that? Like, you can clearly look and see, like, this was my lunch. Like, you couldn't do it no other time. And when I tell you that was a long meeting, it literally was a long meeting. It ran right into my next period class. So I literally went into my next period class starving. I used to just take food onto the meetings. I used to always grab my water. Well, the one thing I always took with me in the meetings was my notebook and my pen because I'm the receipt queen. Okay. I would tell the parents, sorry for my eating, but this is my lunch as well. Yeah. And then the parents be looking like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then they look at admin like, why would you schedule this during the lunch? And then admin looking at the parents like, well, that's the only time you said you had. Oh my goodness. But before we close out, I just want you to know, SPED teams, you are powerful. SPED teams, man, we're like the Avengers. When I tell you SPED teams, like, yo, SPED teams are so powerful, but they cannot thrive in systems that were never designed to support them. Okay. They cannot survive in systems that were never designed to support them. Okay. As we move into 2026, it's not about working harder. It's about working with clarity, structure, and support. Okay. Hint, hint, support. Okay. Now, I'm sorry. I thought she wrote something else. Now, if your school is ready to strengthen SPED systems in 2026, Common Systems. I'm going to send you our link so you can get on a call with us so we can talk about how we can support your school in 2026. Let me go ahead and drop it in the comments. And while I'm doing that, if you have your questions, drop them in the comments right now. We're going to do Q&A. We're going to do Q&A. If you have questions, drop them in the comment section now. And I know it takes you a minute to type your questions. Where's my link? Hold up. Oops. Let me see what questions we have. What questions do we have? All right, let me see. Okay, I don't see any questions on IG. Any questions? And don't be scared to ask your questions. Any questions? Any questions? All right. And you can schedule your call with us. The IEP coach. Oh my gosh. Okay, now my link going to work. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So you can go ahead and schedule your call, pass it on. All right, we don't have no questions. All right, this was great. This was great. Oh, no questions, but you are always doing an amazing job. Oh, thank you, Ali. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That was so nice. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So if we don't have any questions, we're gonna go ahead and close out. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Just a reminder to all of my SPED leaders, school leaders, we have our free webinar on Thursday focusing on the progress monitoring, the missing system that's costing your school growth. And we talk about how to fix that. So you definitely want to come to this free webinar on Thursday, December the 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is absolutely free. And everybody, please don't forget to make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. We drop a new newsletter edition every Wednesday, and we give strategies and tips that you can apply right away. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and drop that in the comments as well. Stay warm, everybody. Remember your capacity. You are one person. Don't push past capacity, because when you do that, that's when you get burnout. And that's not what we want at all. Okay? Be kind to yourself. Give yourself grace and be safe. And we will see you next Tuesday. I'm about to say next Thursday. We will see you next Tuesday. Have a great evening, everyone. Peace.